Hello, everyone. Welcome again to Heavy on the Truth, the plus side conversations with me, Lex Wonderlust, and
Nomi.
today we want to talk about recovery techniques as plus size women who consistently work out. And one of the things that aids us in continuing to be consistent and show up in the gym, show up in a fitness journey every day is ensuring that we would take care of our bodies and give it the best tools in order to do it again the next day. Nomi and I are, for the past couple years, have kind of kept the same cadence. Well, she's always doing a little extra, but we tend to work out 6 to 7 days. And the reason I say 7 is because I always consider we've always done like an active recovery day. Where it's not just laying on the couch; it's staying active, but allowing the rest of our body to recover. So we've bounced a lot of ideas amongst each other to try and prevent that soreness, that pain that may ultimately prevent you from wanting to go back. So we're going to dive into a lot of the methods that we have both tested and tried on ourselves, methods that are science-backed, science-proven, and stuff that we've maybe just heard on TikTok.
I have to say, I am so excited about this. This is like the stuff we nerd out about.
Yeah.
So this is really exciting. I did actually do a video about this on my YouTube page like a few months ago. Like I can literally talk about recovery and like tools and biohacks like all day because it's such a legitimate way to like feel like an elite athlete without being an
Yeah.
elite athlete. And I think it's so important because these are the things that keep you feeling good and keep you wanting to go back, and that's where you can make the gain. And it's not something that's openly discussed if you're not really into like sports, and it's really something that only elite professionals can actually afford because it can get expensive. And ideally, I wish I could do this stuff every single day, but unfortunately, our wallets say otherwise.
For now.
That's true.
For
For
now.
now.
And if you ever hear me call Nomi Lebronia in this journey of like biohacking and trying to find ways to improve performance and increase recovery and gains, I don't know if it was a year ago or what. I don't remember. It was like a long time
It
ago.
was like a year ago.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember this. So maybe a year ago, I was on Instagram scrolling and someone shared this post that talked about LeBron James's documentary on Netflix.
We were already at that time. We were already doing oxygen hyperbaric chamber treatments. How
No,
do we even get to hyperbaric chamber? I think.
I did that in March. I didn't really
Oh,
touch it because I couldn't. It was just how much it cost. It was like, oh, one, two, but
we were doing something. Oh no, we were doing Normatec. I was doing Normatec. We did
compression
Normatec when
too.
you came to the gym with me. No, we did massage. No, you came to the gym with me. We did Normatec. You went and you bought your own Normatec
Yes,
kit
yes.
2 years
And I
ago.
was doing cryo.
Yeah.
And then also, I guess let's take a step back. So, I would say that for me, I believe you are supposed to get a lot of sleep because when you're sleeping, that's when your body does the repair on your muscles and stuff. I was also doing massages, and I did
Yes,
a
we were
lot
doing
of.
massages.
For me, my light recovery days, like when I'm doing activity, really is just me stretching. So I'll take a flexibility class or I'll stretch at home. I keep it very light. I'm not doing too much.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that can be enough. And then also, I try to do cool downs at home and stretch a little more. But at least this is my opinion, is that I find that the more that I'm doing, the more my body needs that extra help. Because yes, I
Absolutely.
can sleep the 8 hours. Yes, I have done stretching, but I still felt the lactic acid was there. I was very sore.
A lot of
Um, I know that with the progressive overloading and the strength training, I would strain them more, so I would have to wear braces when I couldn't go heavy some days. And I think it was just because I wasn't recovering as much as I needed to recover. So I feel like recovery tools in that regard have been very helpful. I first started with the massage gun, which was
Mm-hmm.
life-changing and amazing. And I remember I got that from you because you had
Oh yeah, I
mentioned.
had it there again. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I was like, okay, let me go get one. Found one on Amazon. Then a pole instructor of mine mentioned that she was using an EMS machine. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay,
Forgot about
what
that
is
one.
that? I wanna get into that. So just for people who do not know what an EMS machine is.
It's an electromagnetic stimulation.
Yeah.
It's just so you send you put on these pads. It's attached to, of course, a machine, a conductor, and it sends electric signals through your body on the top of your skin. I was first introduced to it years ago, like 8 years ago, by my chiropractor for my back pain. But I never thought to use it for recovery until you did.
Yeah, and the reason for that is because what I found out from researching, because she told me she was using it more for to help with her pain, and I was like, okay, that's cool. And she was like, it feels great. So I was like, okay, let me see. So the electrical impulses contract the muscles, which can help with muscle rehabilitation, strengthening, toning, and pain relief by reducing stiffness. And a lot of them, you can get them on Amazon. You can get
Yeah.
them really anywhere. I know sometimes PT use them as well. I just brought my own, and mine has maybe 25 settings on them, and you decide. One is PMS, which is all about strengthening the muscle, and you can use it before a workout, ideally, because that actually helps wakes up the muscle. And it's said that it helps with better gains. I've just because of my work schedule and then trying to get to work out, I just have never had the time to do it unless it's like first thing in the morning before I try to make it to a 6 a.m. class. But yeah, so there's that setting. Then of course there's the electrical pulse setting, which it does take some getting used to because you're not used to like little electric shocks going through your
It's
body.
just
Like this is not
tingly.
normal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's tingly.
And then on mine, there's the massage setting, which honestly feels like more intense electric shocks, and it does not feel relaxing. I would rather just go and get a massage for all that. I'm not touching that. So I had that. Oh, and then even before I got
Mm,
a deep
yeah,
tissue massage roller and a regular one. I use those a lot, and I got them from Five Below. Each of them were
yeah.
$5. So I will say I was using that for a while before I upgraded to the massage gun, and then after the massage gun, it was the EMS machine. And those work. They did. I think it's just like the more you do, the more you just it just became this thing is like I could be doing more. Then it was supplements. So I started looking into creatine. You put me on to NAD, so I was like,
Yes.
okay, let me research more. At first I
Oh,
got the pill
I
formation.
thought I did.
No, you
I
were
did
taking.
because I got the shot when I was doing the IV drips. Yes, I did. I
Yes,
did.
you told me, and then all of a sudden, I think the little Chinese spy was listening on TikTok. I started seeing ads for NAD, and then I got the pills. I didn't really feel too many effects. And you told me because you were doing Lipsomol supplement, and I was like, okay. So I did more research, and then I found Ro Nutrition. Shout out to Ro. If you want to send your girl some of her favorite supplements, please
Because
do.
they're expensive.
Exactly.
And you gotta be
So
on it for like 6 months to really feel like optimal effects. Like,
you
dude,
do, and I feel like
dude.
with Lipsomol, it takes the effects are shorter because it goes straight
Yeah,
into
the
like
bloodstream.
the bloodstream. So I will say like maybe 3 months is like where I started feeling it more, but they had this thing called the recovery stack, and I remember I purchased it, and then I told you about it later because I was like, girl, you know I'm a sucker for anything that says recovery. Like, of course I'm gonna do it.
Because you're Lavania.
It was this trio stack of like it was NAD, creatine, and
Mm,
then curcumin and resveratrol all
mm.
together. Three different supplements that you had to take. And I was like, okay, so curcumin and resveratrol is good for anti-inflammation, which is basically what happens to our muscles after we work out. That's where
Curcumin
you
is
get the
what's in turmeric, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's an anti-inflammatory, which helps deflame the muscles, and you get basically less lactic acid. And I was finding that taking those supplements was actually really good, and it was actually helping me. So I would actually say that taking supplements is also something to do for for recovery, and we can do a separate conversation on that because that in and of itself is something completely different, just the supplement game alone. Going back to when a year ago or so, when I was looking on Instagram and someone had posted about the LeBron James documentary. Didn't look at it, but it was purported that he spends $1 million.
Was it 2
a year.
million?
No, $1
2
million
million.
on his body.
Recovery.
Yeah, just on recovery. And he was like, that's crazy to kind of spend that much money. That was his way of denying it. But if you look at everything he's doing, bro probably spends more than $1 million. That's putting it nicely. It gave down a whole breakdown. So it was cryotherapy, cold plunges, massages, red light therapy, and then our favorite, mild hyperbaric oxygen therapy. I like basketball, but I don't really keep up with it. But when you think about it, LeBron is in his 40s. He's slowly becoming the oldest basketball player in the NBA history. It's slowly becoming that. I think there's two other people who retired in their later 40s before him, but I think it's like slowly he's making that name for himself. And he still plays really good game, like at optimum levels. And considering the injuries that he's had, he still comes back really strong. So he's playing like guys in their 30s, in their late 20s, and that says a lot. Yeah, there's the training. So the first one of the things he says is he sleeps for, I don't know, 11 or 12 hours. So he takes naps, he sleeps for at least 10 hours a night, which is great for him, but not all of us can sneak in a nap. Not all of us can afford to just go to bed super early so we can get 10 plus hours. Like,
unless you overhaul your entire life around this journey.
Right. I mean, I wish I could. I've probably been sleeping that now since, being post-op because my body has been
Are you going to be able to go back to the real life?
I know. So there's that. But I was just like, okay, like, I'll see what this is about. So cold plunge, I mean, you can make it work, but I couldn't find a place that did it. For me, when I was doing my research, there was two places that came up. The first one I went to was Chill Space NYC. And I went to them because they had a package deal, which was you do cryo, you do sauna, and they had this this salt room.
Himalayan salt.
Yeah, Himalayan salt room. And also did like PMF, which is like a lower thing of like electrodes like pulsing through your body, but it's not supposed to be as intense as an EMF. So I was like, okay, I'll try it. Did my first bout of like cryo, way different than the cryo machine that I do now. Basically, I walked in, my head was like up here, the rest of it was like in the tank, and then like you're just out there. So it was a different experience, and I really liked how that felt. The sauna was nice too, it was relaxing. And then the seesaw room, live without it. So I was like, okay. But it was really far for me downtown, which it's not that I don't mind traveling downtown, but it's like if I do it on a Sunday and it's already close to my job, it's gonna feel like I spent all week near my job. I really don't want to do that. So I found another place, Hyper Restore Wellness. Shout out to them. If you guys want to give me a discount on any of your stuff, that would be great. Would love to do that because I am a devoted customer. So I went to them, and they had so much more to offer. They had the IV drips, had IM shots, intramuscular shots. They had red light therapy. They had an infrared sauna. They had the cryo machines, and they offered oxygen. So I was just like, wow, this is extensive. And even on the other side, they had hydrofacials too. So sometimes I spend my whole afternoon morning on a Saturday, and I won't get home until the afternoon because I just book back to back appointments. So I remember I found that, and I was like, let's do this. And they also offer compression boots, but I opted out on that because I had brought compression boots prior, because I also read that was my first step into getting more into the LeBron James method, because I was like, compression boots, I heard of them and I thought they were more for runners, so I didn't really think about it because I'm not a runner. What do I need them for?
Everybody and their mama.
And then I found out, the more I did research on it, the more I found out that honestly, they're just really good to have in general, because if you do tough lower body workouts, it's so good, especially for lymphatic drainage. So for those of you that don't know, Compression boots basically use the air around and they compress as well as spread air through your body. So
It's a
they move.
massage in a bag, and it's just
Yeah.
like, think of a blood pressure cuff, but all around your entire leg and arms. And well, Normatec offers arm attachments,
You
hip
could do an
attachments,
arm and a hip test.
knees. They have, yeah, depending on the brand that you go with, they have attachments.
So it moves lymphatic fluid, which reduces swelling. It increases circulation. It lowers soreness, especially like if you do heavy leg days or if you do something that you do a lot on your legs. So because I did like a lot of commuting, the pole, all of that, let me try these. And it just improves recovery between like sessions. So I would say that it accelerates recovery from high volume work, endurance training, and heavy strength cycles. All those things. It was so life changing when I started them. Remember, I was doing that every day when I came back from class. It felt so good. I would fall asleep in them. I would wake up and basically my muscle soreness would not be there. And it helped me like go harder
The
during
next
my
day.
yeah, the next day I was able to go harder when I was lifting, when I was at pole, like, because my legs felt good. And usually I'll stretch them, I'll sleep, and it takes like a good 2 to 3 days because of muscle
Yeah.
soreness to to go away. I'll just be like, oh my god. You remember? I'll be like, my legs, my legs.
It's both of us. This is us on the phone every day. Me going up the stairs every day. I had to take a break. My knees, everything just hurts. I sound like
And
an
I would be
old
like,
lady.
so what did you do? What did you? And it would be like, the funny thing is, one of us would be coming out of the muscle soreness, and then the other one would just pick it up because they did something.
Painful. It was so
It was, and that changed everything for me. To me, this was a good return on investment. So I would say if you can
yeah.
buy certain recovery tools, do it because it's a great return on investment. Having those compression boots
And you
saved me.
bought them on Black Friday too, remember?
I
You got a
did,
really
I
good deal on
did.
them 2 years ago.
So that saved me so much money. And honestly, when I started going to Hyper Restore Wellness, when I started going there more, that was one of the things I didn't necessarily need them for because
Did
I
at
had them at
home.
home. So that actually saved me money because I didn't have a membership yet. Then I decided, okay, I wanted to try cryo again. Their cryo machine was a completely different story, a completely different beast, and I loved it. So cryo, if you haven't done cryotherapy, it's exactly how it sounds. It's putting yourself in basically sub-zero temperatures, negative 100 and something degrees. Max you can go is 3 minutes, but you can always build up to it. They have different levels. You can different fans. So you start off at one fan and they give you a minute and 30 seconds. Then you can go to two fans. Three's the maximum you can do. I do three, and I do for the full 3 minutes. And honestly, when I'm in there, I can actually see the
The
frost on my
on
hairs.
your hair.
Yeah, it's crazy. And also now I can take off the robe because, and when you go to cryo, no matter where you're going, they usually set you up so your extremities are covered, your hands, your ears, your
You
toes,
have to like
because
wear the gloves, right?
yeah, and they don't want you don't want to get hypothermia or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the first things that get super cold. And also they give you a face covering at hyper, but it's nice to have the mask to cover
Maybe
yourself.
you're not breathing in super, super cold air. I don't know.
Yeah, and I guess to protect your nose to
Mm.
make sure that's not too cold. So there was that, and then they give you a rope. Some people decide they were going to take off the robe, some people don't. I had to build up to it, and I was like, okay, I might as well. So let's say at first it was the last 15 seconds, then 30, then 45, then it was 1 minute, then 1 minute and 15, 1 minute and 30, and so on until I could do now. As soon as I go in there, I just take off the robe. I love that drop in temperature. So they always check your temperature to make sure that, you're not too sick and you're okay to go in. And then they check your temperature after just to make sure you didn't drop too much. But usually you get a good jump. So you can jump anywhere from 20 to maybe 30 degrees. Usually I'll be 88 or something or 90 and I'll drop down to in the 50s. So that's really nice. So if you don't know, for cryotherapy or even cold plunges, it reduces inflammation and swelling. It helps joint irritation after training, decreases post exercise soreness, can briefly reduce nerve sensitivity. If the joint and help the joints feel less irritated. And for me, especially now, since getting surgery, my knee always feels better. Like I have a cryo machine at home that is just like for my knee. But when I do the whole body, there's nothing like it in the world. And honestly, it helps with mental clarity, it helps with sleep, it helps get you energized, especially after you get out. But I guarantee you, you sleep so well after. So that is what I started doing, and I would get that every 2 weeks, and it felt really, really good. Um, and then I decided to try red light therapy, and I tried it first at Hyper Restore because they had the panels there in the room for that. I didn't really necessarily understand it. I had done some research, and I was like, okay, like it improves cellular energy, which is ATP, and that basically is on the micro the molecule level, and that helps with the cell repairing itself. Didn't necessarily understand that at the time, my first session, until after I did more research. It reduces inflammation, it helps tendon and ligament healing, and improves microcirculation, helps with stiffness. I went in there and I did feel good. I wasn't necessarily energized or buzzed or like how I felt with cryo, but I was
But you were
like,
only there, I think you were only there for like a few minutes. It was like 10 minutes or
no, I did a 15-minute session.
15 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, you don't really feel it. Sometimes you can feel it. I think when it's more targeted, but I didn't necessarily feel it. I guess because it's penetrating the skin and really affecting the cells, I really wouldn't feel it. You know, I think you feel a little warm because you have lights on you, but other than that, nothing crazy. So then I decided, let me just keep doing it. But I did get a lot of good sleep, and I did feel less, my muscles were less stiff. So I was, and then I got a red light panel for home after doing research. I found a
One
really
thing
good
about this girl, one thing you need to know about this girl, if she finds something, and maybe it's because you're in New York City and maybe it's kind of the whole commute aspect of it, but whenever you find something, where she will go and buy it. And I'm just like, yo. Because first I was like, I mean, because I've, of course, like my introduction to Aromatech is like this great thing, but the way that I access it is through, they have it at my gym. So I use it at the gym, but there's this line, you have to book a reservation. So you can't just have it every time you want, and you can't have it for as long as you want. She was like, screw that. And she just goes and buys it. So one minute she's bought like another version, a more affordable version of the compression boots. Next minute, she's bought a red light panel. I mean, like your entire house right now is a recovery clinic, like essentially.
wish. But no, I like the way it felt. I want to feel the effects of it more. So of course I was like, let me get it because then I'm saving money instead of spending
Girl
a
math.
bunch of money on per session. I would fall asleep immediately. I was using it like mainly on my shoulders, my back, and my arms because that's where I was feeling a lot of soreness because of working out and pull. And honestly, like just laying there and just like I was just like,
You would
this
pass out.
amazing. It would, and I also started using it a bit on my ankle when like that I had sprained. Not because like my ankle was in pain or anything like that. It's supposed to be healing, so why not? Let's see, just in case there is some unforeseen damage or microscopic damage I don't know about, at least it's there, and I would actually feel it like my ankle would sometimes twitch a
Tinkle.
little.
Yeah.
And then after I ruptured my ACL, I definitely started using it more. And I would feel in my knee or in my quad, I would see my muscle twitch just a little bit. And it wasn't alarming, but I think that's my body's way of responding and letting me know it's healing itself. So you do have instances where you feel tingling or you can see twitching, and it's not something to be alarmed about. I think it's just your body's way of just being like, hey, your cells are working, it's doing what it's supposed to do. Your cells are healing and you're helping them heal.
Because I remember the
So,
time I bought mine. Well, I bought it
yeah,
because of you, because she's such an influence. Well, she's a good influence. She's not a bad. So I bought mine, and the first day I did it, I set the 30-minute timer. And then within 5 minutes, I'm tingling and twitching everywhere that I was feeling pain. And then I texted her, I'm like, am I supposed to be feeling something? I said, it's just dangerous. I said, what's wrong? And I asked Chat, I was like, Chat, like, what is this tingling? Oh, it's normal. It's normal. You kind of like have to get used to it. I think I felt it more in the beginning. As time goes by, the minute I put it on, I just pass out. Now I don't even know what I'm feeling. But I remember being
right.
scared. Is it working for real? Because why am I tingling? Like,
Right. I think that's also a thing. Like, I think it's one of those things because you may not necessarily feel the effects right away. So you really don't know. The thing about red light is you have to be consistent about it. It's not how much I can do in like session. Like, I usually put mine on for 30 minutes.
I think you're not supposed to do it for more than 30 minutes.
Right.
That's
So I do
a lot of
2
what the women
sessions
say.
during the day for 30 minutes. But you can also do it for 15 minutes. If you do it for 15 minutes every day, you're going to feel the effects of it more and more. And that just means your cells are repairing and doing everything that it needs to do, which on a molecular level is good. That's what you want. That's how you reduce muscle soreness. That's how you improve your recovery sessions and you can go harder, is because your cells are able to replenish themselves and repair themselves. And that's a really good thing. Didn't really know that, but I think like a lot of people sleep on that because it may not necessarily be something you feel. If you go into cryo, you feel energized, awake, you're ready to go. And with red light, it takes a little longer. You may not feel it right away, but I also think that it also helps with like mental clarity as well. You do sleep really well.
No, the sleep is top notch. It's immediately within 15 minutes knocked out. And it's kind of like that deep, because I track my sleep with wearables. I'll notice that the days that I do use the light, I'm in, usually you kind of like vary between REM sleep, awake, deep sleep, etc. And sometimes the deep sleep is not that much, maybe 2-3 hours. But when I use the red light, I'm in full blown deep sleep for longer periods of time and a total amount of time. First I pass out immediately, and then I'm deep sleep. I don't even think I dream those days. It's like brain shut down, regenerate, leave us alone, stop wasting energy, get better, woman. And top notch.
Okay, no. The real top-notch player in all this is Mitol's hyperbaric oxygen therapy. This
That
is
joint.
a game
It's an
changer.
expensive habit.
It is so expensive, my God, but I get it.
It is an
I
expensive
get it.
habit,
And the
dude.
more you use it, the better results you get. And that is the thing. And I will say that with all of those things. Everything is about consistency. They recommend doing cryo every single day. I wish I could do cryo every single day because I would be great. Red light, you do every single day. I could do that every single day because I own a panel. So yes,
We've looked into owning a chamber.
I know we have
We've looked at the cost of owning a chamber, a soft chamber,
because
the cost of oxygen.
it
Yeesh.
is chef's kiss to where we are right now in terms of recovery.
If I had
Um,
that $30,000,
I can't say anything else. Like, this is the top level, the master boss level at the end of the video game. It is it. For right now, it is it for recovery. It's the top level of recovery. Chef's kiss to Miles hyperbaric oxygen therapy. So let's get into this one because this one absolutely is a game changer. Like, it's the top-notch recovery tool biohack in recovery for athletes right now. I don't know if we're
in
ever gonna
life
top
generally
like
at this
this.
point, just for life. At this point, any minor inconvenience, get in the chamber.
I don't know if there's gonna be something better, but right now this is it, and I get it. So that one, it took me a very long time because I was like, I found it, and from Hyper Restore Wellness, and I was like, okay. So without the membership, I saw how much it cost, which was about $160 per session. And listen, when you are living in one of the most expensive cities in the world, that is a lot of money to part with. But I don't know. I can't even remember. I just decided to take the
You
plunge one day. I was like,
figure it out.
girl, I think I'm
No,
just gonna try it. And you were like,
we always
okay,
say
let
we're
me
gonna stop shopping. We're gonna stop shopping. We're gonna cut down on the shopping.
I had to try. I needed to know. So they have the soft collapsible chambers there, which means is that when it compresses, it blows up when you're in it. So they have one that you lie down
It's
in,
a pressurized environment.
yeah,
Similar to like being in a pressurized cabin in an airplane.
yeah, because they have hard capsule ones that you can be in.
Yeah.
I don't know if New York City has any of those. I know the one you went to,
It's soft.
it was.
It's soft.
Oh, yours was
Mine's
soft. Oh, I thought yours was hard.
Yeah.
So mine's was, and then they also have one that you can sit in as well. Some people like to do work while they're pumping oxygen in there, so I get that. And it is just pure, unfiltered oxygen going into your system. You put a nose cannula on, and you can go in for 60 or 90 minutes. When I first started going, I only did 60 minutes because I thought it was extra for 90. Found out it wasn't, and that changed everything. So, first time I went, I got sick, but it wasn't because of the oxygen. It was because I think I ended up with like mild food poisoning. And I remember I was looking at my symptoms, and I think I had finally
Yeah.
asked Chad about it. And I remember telling you, and Chad was just like, "It's not that. It's not. It is not the oxygen. No one has ever reported symptoms like that. Oxygen did not do this to you." And I was just like, "I don't know. I think it was the oxygen." I didn't have the best time the first time around.
Yeah.
But even though I was suffering from food poisoning or whatever, I can say the first half of that sleep was top notch. That sleep was ridiculous.
In the chamber or out of the chamber?
No, out of the
Yeah.
chamber. In the chamber, yeah, I fell asleep. And I felt kind of refreshed and I felt good, but when I went to bed that night, that sleep hit a whole new level. I think, 2 weeks later, I went back again because I was like, I gotta give myself another chance because I was dealing with food poisoning. So, went back. And the effects were affecting. I slept in the chamber. I felt so good, so relaxed. Then later that night, I slept like a baby. But I can say my recovery, when I tell you the muscle soreness was not really hitting me, I just felt invincible.
I know, you really
And I was
do.
just like,
You really
oh my
do.
God, you do. I don't even know how to explain it. I was doing the same intensity of my workouts. If anything, I felt like I had more energy to go in there and push myself, but my muscles were just not feeling sore at all. It was amazing. I feel invincible.
Oh, Superman
Like,
invisible.
good. It was amazing. So, just so for people know what the mild hyperbaric oxygen therapy does, it increases oxygen saturation in tissues, it enhances collagen formation, so it's good for ligaments, it helps decrease inflammation. They say that it may accelerate healing after surgery or injury, and improves recovery from fatigue, which I can say I did get, and I talked about this in our last conversation. I did get the oxygen therapy the day before my surgery, and I think that did set me up
Yeah.
for success. I think a lot of the milestones that I hit, and I hit them pretty early, was due to that.
And the
But
red
also my
light.
pain levels were, well, no, I couldn't touch the
Oh, you
red light
couldn't touch it
until
for a while. Never mind.
6 weeks.
You did it.
Yeah.
You did it.
So I
You did it
feel like,
before the surgery.
yeah, the day before the surgery. So, um,
No, you were doing red light before surgery.
oh yeah, no, I did red light before the surgery, but I'm saying just in terms of oxygen, those first 6 weeks where I was able to get my single leg raises, and I think it mainly really helps with my pain levels. That's what I will say. My pain levels were damn near
Because you weren't
non-existent.
taking the oxy.
I took it at night, and I didn't take it at night because I felt pain. It was more so it got uncomfortable at night. I feel like my nerves were more awake during the nighttime. So it wasn't pain. I just had a level of discomfort where I was like, I'm gonna take the oxy just to go to sleep. And I had another anti-inflammatory that was making me drowsy too that I had to take all the time. But I can say during that time, everyone kept asking me and saying, "Oh, you must be in a lot of pain." And I was like, "No, I know the difference between pain and discomfort." And I have to say, my leg gets uncomfortable. There's a level of discomfort naturally. I'm not really feeling pain. And I think that had a lot to do with me getting oxygen the day before. Yeah, like I had that extra oxygen filtering and saturating my tissues and helping make the environment as optimum as possible. And then of course you get even more oxygen because they put you to sleep. So I just had extra oxygen for 24 to 48 hours. So I will say, like, yes, it did help with healing too because my scars look really good. I didn't really have any problems with that. So, and I feel like that happened pretty well, even with the stitches. He was like, "You're not oozing, nothing is tearing." So that looked really good, and I think that probably was the oxygen too. But oxygen just takes it to another level that I can't describe. It is expensive. So, yeah, It's not, everybody can't do it, but if you can try to squeeze even one session a month, you will see a difference. And I know for you, like, I'll let you speak on your experience with oxygen because you were willing to risk everything for it.
And I did. No, because for me, it's like, well, so I've always done, I mean, in my entire fitness journey, it's been, and I don't know if it's the overachiever in me, but everything that I do, I must grow. I must be the best at it. I must hit the top mark. I must get the A plus, whatever. So even with working out, it wasn't enough for me to just be working out to lose weight. I want to build strength. I want to lift heavier. I want to be stronger. And for in the beginning of my journey, those first couple years, it's like you go hard one day and you're done. I can't move for 2 days. I can't go up the stairs. I mean, I'm just literally groaning. I remember I had to start when I go down the stairs in my house, I have to go backwards. The quads are done. The hamstrings are done. The knees are crying. The calves are done. Body and pain. And I've been lucky that because of like back pain and other things, I had the massage done. Of course, stretching has always been a thing for me. So yeah, stretch. I was always a person in class, in my fitness classes, that stays past the class and stretches. I would stretch for like 10, 15 minutes because I knew if I didn't. And when I started working out, I had sciatica. I had a lot of pain in my calves. So it was actually hurting to work out. And I had to kind of release that pain out of my muscles and my calves to kind of like to continue kickboxing. So I knew very much well, no matter what I did, I needed to stretch. So of course, stretching is always number one. Stretching, there's a difference. There are static stretches and dynamic stretches. Keep the static stretches after the workout. And that's like the stretches where you're holding for long periods of time. Apparently, if you do them before your workout, you're introducing more injury unless you really know what you're doing. Dynamic stretches are like short stretches, movement stretches, things like hip circles. I think those are dynamic. Just don't do any really long stretches before workout. So I always dynamic stretch before a workout, and I always did my static stretches after the workout. And you think that's enough, but it really wasn't because I was suffering when I came home. So it's like, okay, how can I work out? I'm down for 2 days, sometimes 3 days, sometimes 4, because maybe like not kickboxing, boot camp classes, some days they had these big challenges. They'd be like, oh, today we're going to do 100 burpees, or today we're going to do 200 push-ups, or today we're going to get this big tire and we're going to roll around. Today we're going to run 10 miles. So when I know what they were doing and I liked that push, but after I would do that really, really heavy day, I couldn't work out for a week. And I'm like, I'm paying all this money to be able to work out every day. I'm on this fitness journey. I want to build muscle. I need to be in the gym every day. At least that's what I know I need for my body. So for me, it was like, okay, if I don't figure out how to recover and how to continue doing this consistently, I'm going to fall off this journey. So the stretching wasn't enough. So that's when I really started digging into the supplementation. And a good thing for me, I kind of already knew about some of this stuff because I've been heavy into my skincare for the last 15 years. Since the 10-step Korean beauty routine was a thing, I was deep down in there. When that whole started in 2015, I was deep in, honey, 15 products, 2 hours a day. Because of that skincare journey, I was introduced to things like IV drip. I was introduced to like supplementations, like making sure eating your skincare, not just putting it topically, but making sure I'm getting bone broth for collagen, eating, vitamin C for brightness. So I knew I'd done a lot of the research on topical products and food. So supplements were not something that I was scared of using in my journey. But of course, there's this whole, and I don't know if you hear this, but a long time ago, you would hear, oh, what's the point of buying supplements? It's just expensive pee. And I understand that. And that's why, like, we always talked about this. I'm like, okay, how can I deal with this whole expensive pee thing? Then you start looking at absorption rate. And every time we talk about supplements, the first question that I have, has that product been third-party tested for effectiveness? Are they testing absorption rates? And that's when, a lot of companies started coming out with reports. And I tend to buy only from companies that have that third-party testing and they publish those reports. And it's not just a sentence on the line. And now with the advent of ChatGPT, you don't have to spend your time researching that. He can, you can get the link to that information. So third-party testing for absorption rates. And then a lot of companies started coming with liposomal supplements, which in a non-sciencey way, it's just supplements that are designed very much so to enter your bloodstream as soon as possible to be absorbed well into your products. So I knew, okay, so I was like, okay, I can add supplements, any supplement that I add, I need to make sure it's tested for absorption. So that's when I started doing things like magnesium glycinate. Let me be honest, there are certain other magnesiums that are for sleep, but magnesium glycinate definitely goes towards your muscle recovery. You put me onto creatine. I really wasn't looking at creatine because I didn't want to be bulky back then. I think the mindset was, I'm not working out to be bulky, I'm working out to lose weight. And then you're like, oh, you need to build muscle, so you need creatine. So things like magnesium, creatine, collagen, of course. But anyway, so there's this, what are you eating? Trying to recover based on what you're eating. Of course, make sure you're eating your macros correctly, getting enough protein. That also helps, apparently, in recovery and your muscle recovery. Getting enough protein immediately after your workout and throughout the day. It wasn't an IV drops, because I think I went to get IV drips for skincare, but then you would see on like the services, I would say, oh, muscle recovery. Then you start learning about things like L-glutathione and R-carnitine and other vitamins or so that do help with muscle recovery on top of, hydration and skincare, etc., and digestion. So when you start taking all this in, I'm eating correctly. I'm supplementing on the parts that we know our diet is not attacking, or I'm supplementing to really hyper focus on this result. But it's still not enough. I'm still tired. I'm still sore. So that's when we started talking about, well, actually, no, when I switched to my most current gym, mainly because I needed something that was less cardio, more strength training, and had daycare. I decided they give you like an intro personal training session with a personal trainer. And I was so lucky that the first trainer that I did my trial with, and I had no intention of paying for it, I was just going to do the first session and go my way. But this guy, he was also in the Army, so he knew about the gym that I was in. Anyway, so he was the first guy. I trained with him that first day, and he had me lifting heavy. He was calling me an athlete. He was looking at my blood results. And after our workout, he was like, okay, not only did he plan our workout, he also planned my recovery that day. So that's the day he introduced me to the recovery clinic at my gym. And our recovery clinic had a cryotherapy bed. So it wasn't the chamber, but it was basically like a lounge chair with the mats. And it had like 4 or 5 sections and then like an accessory. And you could choose the temperature, which one was cold and which one was hot. So it fluctuated. So it's not the same as being in a chamber. It kind of gets, topically, you're kind of getting the same, not holistically, but your back is kind of getting that cold shock to your system. So we introduced me to the cryo bed. We had a massage lounge as well. It's just water. It's like a water massage situation. And then we have the Normatec compression boots there. We have the Theraguns, what else do we have? Just a whole bunch of anything the Normatec company makes. We have Hyperis. Anything Hyperis makes, you'll find it there. And it's a slew of products. Hyperis, hi. Interesting. So, him kind of, like, I remember that first day. Well, maybe let's say the second time I worked out with him, because I just, he got me. I decided to pay for personal training with him. And I was like, okay, I'm going to spend this money for the next 3 months. The next 3 months, I'm going to lose 100 pounds. And I'm going to build so much muscle. So he would plan my recovery. And within like 2 weeks worth of time, I went from, it was deadlifting. I started at like 70 pounds. Within 2 weeks, I was deadlifting like 180 pounds. And the only reason I was able to progress that much in such a short amount of time with him was because after every session, he had me in the recovery clinic. And we also had a sauna and a steam room in the locker room and a hot tub. So he would send me downstairs, get in the tub, do 30 minutes of sauna or steam, whichever one you choose to kind of like sweat it out, come back upstairs and do the recovery clinic. So I would be spending 3 hours. I no longer work there, but I would take my work laptop with me. I'd go my lunch break at 12 and I would do my session with him. And from like 1 to 2 to 3, I'm in recovery, just working. And nobody knew.
Because it literally, you can spend all day in there just recovering. I remember when I went to see you for your birthday and we went to the gym, took the class, killed myself, and you were like, no, I'm gonna make it up to you. And it was like,
I'm gonna fix you.
Like, it was so nice. I'm like, okay, I can forgive.
And we were there for
hours.
We're just
open to giving you forgiveness after this. Like, it was true, because at first I was like, damn, girl, you in there for 3 hours? And then
Yeah.
I was like, no, I get it. We were in the steam room, we went to the hot tub, then we went upstairs, and where there was the Theragun, then there was the chair. I was like, yeah, I get how
3
you could
hours.
be in there all day.
And that's only like 1 hour of working out. Now I'm even worse because I'll do 2 hours of working out. And then, I mean, when my daughter's with her father for the weekend, I don't have a life. I wake up at 8 o'clock and I go to the gym and I don't get out until like 2 o'clock. And it's like, anyway, so he kind of introduced me to this biohacking with recovery tools. And instead of being sore after my sessions the next day, I was okay. I mean, I wasn't like, okay, it's not like you're like happy go lucky until the oxygen chamber. You're not happy go lucky, but you're also not in pain. You know that you can feel that you've worked a muscle, that you've really put in work, but you're not in pain. You're not in anguish. It's not something that will prevent you from going hard the next day. Of course, cycle around the body parts that you work on, as you should in strength training. But like, you just couldn't, I don't feel defeated after a hard workout. So after training with him really helped me kind of put all these things together and combine it. But then I found another trainer and I just take his group fitness classes. And he's a bodybuilder. He trains for Ironman and he completes Ironman competitions. That man does not care about your feelings. He does not care about what you think are your limitations. And I know a lot of people get weird about trainers like that, like, oh, they're so hard, da, 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 da. But I kind of like that because I like a challenge. So with him, it was more like I learned, and I limit how many times I see this man. Because if I see him every day, I'll be done. Unless I had a hyperbaric chamber in my house. With him, I mean, we were doing things like, in the 1 hour, maybe we're doing 100 squats, but every 10 squats, we're increasing the weight. And sometimes a lot of the stuff is really mental. Because I'm like, I never in my mind would I think that I could do 100 weighted squats, barbell squats, and go from starting maybe at like 90 pounds. And before the end of the session, I've squatted 200 pounds. Even like, anyway, so I started, now I'm going harder than before. I'm training with a bodybuilder that does iron. I'm like, who do I think I am? So of course, after like a session like that, my quads are done. I mean, even sitting on the toilet is a problem. So the fact that I'd increased, like the Theragun, that was nice, but with this dude, I have to take a day off, 2 days off. I still work out on other things, but cannot do legs again, cannot do arms again after his classes. And then when you started, you were doing oxygen chamber, I was like, let me give it a try. And I remember I had done one of his sessions and he was just brutal that day. It was a brutal day. I finally got myself up to a point where I was doing 40-pound barbell rows. Like, okay, I know like we always talk about this, like, women, let's leave the 5-10 pounders alone, but I usually lived in like the 20-25 pounder, 30 if I'm feeling peckish, but like, and I started noticing like I'm one of the few women, let's say I had a class of like 20 with men and women, it's me and through the three dudes in the 40 and 45s and the 50 pounder, and I'm like, oh my god, I've become that person, which is okay, fine, I'm progressively ovulating and I'm seeing the results, but you're in a lot of pain, you're sore. And again, I'm in this journey and I know consistency for me is what I need, because I take a day off and it just, again, 80-20. And I know myself. So I don't want to be in a position where I take a day off and then it's like back, I've undone all the gains for the week, because a lot of this is really, building muscle or changing your body. For me, it's this really everyday consistent thing. I cannot guarantee that I will eat correctly every day, but what I can guarantee is that if I don't eat correctly 2 days out of that week, I've made it up in my movement. Of course, you can't unrun it by diet, and that's what I'm trying to say, but this is just what works for me. So I needed something else for those really, really hard days. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go get a hyperbaric chamber treatment. And it wasn't like a lot of these things, it's not like you plan it. You just have a really hard workout day and you're like, oh my God, I can't function. I need a fix. I need a fix right now. So I remember I went and I got IV drips, and it was like around Christmas time. And I got an IV drip and that didn't really help much. So the next day I found a hyperbaric chamber around my neighborhood. We have a restore in Maryland, but it was too far. And their pricing, like, they're cheaper in New York. They're more expensive here. I didn't like that pricing structure. And I didn't understand their little, credits, a little off. I don't have time for math. I'm exhausted. So I found a chiropractor in my area that has a chamber in her office, and she's cheap. She's cheaper, especially if you buy packages. So I decided to do one and see how it is. And I went in there, like, literally, like, hurting, limping into her office. And I got in and I felt tingling. I remember I took a video and I sent it to you, and I passed out. And when she started removing, depressurizing the chamber, I moved and I didn't feel any pain. I didn't feel any, it was like someone had come with like a magic wand. I was in a Disney movie, and boom, gone. And I just looked at her and I was like, what is this sorcery? And I remember that day I booked sessions for the next like month, 2 months. I was not playing with her. And that really, like, not only, you really do feel like God at that moment. Like, I have learned how to biohack this body. It is a dangerous power because I have used it for bad.
It is, because I also remember, like, you were doing it because of work. Like, you had locked in at work. You were super focused. You were just well rested. But I was like, who is this person? Like, what is happening?
It changed everything. But it also allowed me, now I have no limits when it comes to my fitness journey, of course, other than safety. But if I, like, right now, I'm in a journey with the body recomp. A lot of what I want to do is going to require progressive overload, other than chest presses, because I leave that to God and you. I am not good at progressively overloading on chest presses. I think I've been 70 pounds, 80 pounds, 90 pounds for the last 2 years, and I am okay with it. God didn't give me the upper body for it. It's okay. I've accepted it. But I've been focusing a lot on, like, reshaping my glutes, like having more rounder glutes instead of square inverted glutes, and also reducing my diastasis recti in my core and reducing the visceral fat around my body, my midsection. So that requires me to do like a lot of RDLs, a lot of hip thrusts, a lot of deadlifts for upper body, because I do want to work on my arms and my back, a lot of rows, a lot of lat pulls. So before, I think I would have been scared to go harder, to progressively overload every week, which progressive overload is just doing the same reps but increasing the weight. And on top of that, I have a split where it's every one day I do upper body, the next day I'm doing lower body, well, certain parts of my glutes. The next day then I'm doing upper body again, then the next day I'm doing glutes again, and then a cardio day, another whole body workout. That's when I usually take like a fitness class, and then active recovery, which is usually like a walk or stretching or something like that. So when you look at this, I'm doing strength training 4 days out of the week. And every workout that I'm doing, and core, I do core every day. So I don't even count that because I do core every day. And these are like 1 hour and a half, 2 hour sessions. Because I've just gotten to the point where I'm not one of those people that goes in the gym and is like running. Like, I need to breathe, I need to relax. I want the muscle to grow. So I do take longer breaks. So 2 hours in the gym, 1 hour is not enough for me to hit all the targets that I want to do, especially if I'm doing, 4 reps of 10 or 12 on an exercise. And don't forget, I have a warm up, and my warm up is usually I have my static stretching first, then I have my warm up. My warm up, I usually do 5 to 10 minutes of the Stairmaster. If I'm doing glutes, I want to wake up the glutes. If I'm doing arms, I want to wake up the exercise, the parts of my body that I'm going to be using. Then you have the core workout. Then you have your main workout session. Then I have the core. Then I have a metabolic conditioning section, and then I have my post strength training cardio, which is usually an incline walk for 10 to 15 minutes. Then you have your static stretching, and then you have your recovery. So, like, we're talking about, I need about 2 to 3 hours, 2 hours just on working out, 1.5 to 1.75 to 1.75 What am I doing saying this? 90 minutes, about 90 minutes of really working out and stretching, 30 minutes of recovery, right? So I'm not gonna cycle through that. I'm gonna take my time with it. So when you look at that split, you're hitting these muscles 2 to 3 times a week, and you're progressively overloading, you're adding weight every session, which is what I tried to do. But I think most people kind of do it like every week. So you're really tearing those muscles and you need to rebuild them. And if you're not taking recovery seriously, you can be in a lot of pain and you can be sore. And ultimately, worst case scenario, you give up and you don't end up continuing on this journey. But the one thing that I have learned and I have seen, these journeys, like a lot of people come to the gym and start lifting weights and they think one day is going to work or 1 week, 2 weeks. No, you really got to lock in and say, okay, I'm going to commit to this in 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. And once you kind of change your thinking that way and you're doing the same exercises and hitting the same muscles consistently, both weekly and in a month and in 2 months and in 3 months, you really start to see the changes. You really start to see your body changing in the way that you want it to. Like, and I take before and after pictures. And when I decide, okay, now I'm focusing on glutes and my waist, the inches are coming off when I'm measuring my waist. The booty's getting thicker, the inches there are getting bigger. So, but this is like after committing 3 months to 6 months to this specific circuit. So when you're kind of doing that and really zoning in and honing in, you need to make sure you can continue, that you're not hurting yourself. So that's where things like the chamber come in very, very handy. It's sort of this, to me, it's like a quick fix. Yes, stretch, of course. I'm not saying don't do anything else. Yes, take the supplements. Make sure you're ingesting your nutrients, both through your food or through supplements, however you want to. But if you feel like, oh my gosh, this is painful, or you're going through a phase where you're in so much pain, maybe you're beginning out in your journey and you're in so much pain, instead of saying, letting this limit you from what you're capable of and what you can accomplish, use tools like the chamber to help you get over that hump. Like I went through a period where I sprained my ankle and I was in a lot of pain and I couldn't really work out. I was training for High Rocks, which is like, if you're a millennial, it's like the quarter life crisis. I'm not doing a marathon, but technically it kind of is a marathon because there's a lot of running. But I like it because it has the strength training aspect to it. The lunges, the sled pushes, farmer's carry. So I feel comfortable in those workouts and the running. So I'm trying to build up my running while also increasing the intensity of my strength training, my weight lifting, my weight training. So when I broke my ankle, not only was I in a lot of pain from no, I didn't break it. I sprained it. I was in pain. I couldn't work out as much as I could, but I used these tools, the red light, bought the red light, put it at home. I use these tools to speed up my recovery. And actually, the funny thing is, on top of the PT and because of the PT and my supplementation, the leg, the ankle, the side of my body that I had strained actually became stronger than the other side. And of course, in training, you're training both, but I've noticed the results of this. I went from being someone who had pain on my left side consistently in everything that I did, walking, standing, when I started my journey. And now like that side is my stronger side. And now I'm working on retraining the right side so it can also be stronger. You just get to a point where you know the solution to the issues that you're having with your body. Maybe I'm not a strong runner. And honestly, I'm not fixing my running by running. Yes, I run, but I'm fixing my running by building the muscular posture to be able to have the endurance to run, right? Strength training, not only does it burn more calories, not only does it build more muscle, which ultimately with the diet will increase the loss of fat, it also increases endurance, increases your respiratory and cardiac health, which will help with running. So and now with oxygen recovery, I feel like God. Of course, God is all knowing, whatever. But like we really don't understand our body. And sometimes we make judgments before actually diving in and understanding it. And yeah, we may not have medical degrees or the time to do all this research, but we've been doing with trial and error in our lives and taking it piecemeal. But what this journey has taught me is if you have a goal, and it doesn't matter how impossible it is, break it down, try it, go after it. You can fix it. And yeah, for me, recovery is just this real tool that has allowed me to do things I never thought were possible, and to be able to sit here in front of you guys and say, yeah, I've lost 70 pounds in the last 2 years, but my goal is to lose another 100 pounds. These things, when you say them sometimes to people, they seem like these impossible things. But because I know I have the tools, because I've tested this, I've tried this, I've done the research, I have a support system, it's not that far-fetched. Will it take time? Absolutely. I didn't get here one day. Rome wasn't built in a day, and it can't be demolished in one day either. So yes, it will take time, but it's not impossible when you have the tools, when you have set the goal and you're going after it. Another part that I wanted to add, if you're like me, you're skincare girly, these journeys are very intertwined. When I stumbled onto NAD plus, and NAD, they're a bunch of it's not like DNA, but it's nutrients in your body that signal to your body to regenerate cells. So it's basically an anti-aging components. When I stumbled onto it, I was looking at, making sure that as I'm losing weight, that my skin is, not loose, that it's of course, collagen, you can take collagen, but from what I had read, collagen is not as effective as kind of looking at a DNA level approach. So I looked at it not only for like reducing loose skin and the appearance of loose skin and increasing skin elasticity. Queen's English. I'm still an immigrant, people. But I also wanted, I've always, we're in our 30s. I've had a child. I'm aging, and I never wanted to grow older and like be miserable, like, oh my God, I'm getting old, or be mad at the young girls because they're young and beautiful and just be envious. I never wanted to be that kind of woman in my age. So I was like, oh, what can I do to age gracefully, to enjoy the aging process, to appreciate myself, my body, my skin as I grow older? And a lot of that has been part of my skincare journey, on top of like just fighting hyperpigmentation, because I've had hyperpigmentation my entire life, and as kids do in school, they make fun of you and it becomes this thing, and it's like, oh my God, calm down. A lot of us have hyperpigmentation. It's not that big of a deal. Like, okay, whatever, we're gonna leave that alone. So I stumbled on NAD, kind of searching for skincare solutions, and it's really just a bunch of like B vitamins, but they attack your anti-aging possibilities from a molecular level. Not only increased my energy, because we know B vitamins are really good with energy and recovery, but I just started feeling like, I don't know, I feel younger than I've ever felt in my life. I feel stronger. I feel more capable than I've ever felt in my life. Even like, I know I'm not the lightest person on this earth. I'm two something, and I don't feel like it. Like, I don't feel heavy. I don't feel like overwhelmed and there's a weight over me like I used to. And part of that is the working out. But when I added the anti-aging supplements, it just changed so much. And not only physically, it also helps mentally with focus. And, when we think about things like dementia, I know there are studies that have come out that creatine actually reduces the risk of dementia as we age and as we continue supplementing. Not at a 5 milligram dose, I should say. But anyway, do the research. This is not medical advice. But in terms of like skincare and mental clarity and energy and capacity and focus, these journeys are intertwined. So I know some people may be scared of like the fitness aspect of it, like, oh, I don't want to be really into fitness, but you're into skincare. It's the same building blocks, right? Our bodies are what our bodies are, and to change it, we have to follow those procedures and those doctrines. So these journeys can be intertwined. You can intertwine your mental health, your skincare, and your fitness journey. And a lot of the recovery tools are part of why you see this increase in so many aspects of your life, in many areas of your life. But yeah.
I will say, if you want a little hot tip here, I would say take NAD and collagen, wait about 30 minutes, then sit under your red light therapy panel, changes your game. I do it mainly for my knee, just to help with like building the collagen building blocks for my knees' sake. But if you do that just anywhere on your body, because red light is good for the skin as well. Even though it's penetrating through it, it does help with those skin cells. So it's good for overall your body, but it will take things up a level when you're doing it. I will say that.
And you hit on
Like that
something. You hit on something important that I want people to also understand. Yeah, we're talking about supplementation, but also understand they can be cross reactions between certain supplements together. So let's say you decided, okay, I'm going to supplement with this, this, and this. Do take the time to look at the research and what cannot be mixed together, what cannot be taken within 2 or 3 hours of each other. Because sometimes you can actually undo what you're trying to do based on everything that you're taking, especially if you're on like certain medication. Like I know because I'm on a GLP-1 and I'm on other medication, I really need to be careful as to when I take what. So I'll take certain medications maybe on an empty stomach in the morning, and I'll have to wait 2, 4, 5 hours before I can take the other one. Or I certain things I can't do in the same day just because of those features. So work with a doctor or do the research yourself. The way that I do it, and there's the easy way that I do it. I have all my medications, and maybe I'm just maybe it's the legal training that we both had, but all my medications are listed on like a database that cross checks for cross. I don't know what the term is, cross reaction or whatever that term where you negate there's harm in those two compounds being together. So that usually does the work for me. And then I go a step further. And every supplement that I add, I do run it by my doctor, although she doesn't agree with my creatine supplementation because of the bloating. But for me, for muscle gains, it's working because I'm tracking my creatine levels in my blood and my muscle mass in body, and it is increasing. So I've seen a change in supplementing with creatine. So yeah, run it by your doctor, check for not cross contamination, but whatever that cross reaction is. And also timing matters. Certain things need to be taken on an empty stomach. Some things need to be taken at night. And just do that research. Don't really hurt yourself in this journey. Do it carefully and with intention.
Yeah, no, definitely. That is a good point. But like some things, if you mix like your supplements take them at a certain time together, and then you add like a biohacking tool, can really, really change how your recovery is. Like for me, that is taking like the vitamin C, collagen, and NAD at the same time, and then sitting under the red light gives it the optimal chance for my knee to like heal itself and repair itself. So love doing that. And also that's just like those supplements alone are just great for your skin. And then the red light is great for your skin anyway. So it's doing like double like benefit on my skincare level and on the healing level. But yeah, so hot takes from this conversation that we hope you take away. A disclaimer is that we are not medical professionals, nor do we make ourselves out to be. This is all from our own research that we have done and that have been verified through medical studies and consultations with medical professionals. So there's that. For recovery, supplements are a great thing to use. Like I said, we can do another conversation just on supplements alone. I know on my channel, I have gone through all the supplements that I take for just ACL recovery. So that's up there if you ever want to know more about supplements you can take for healing and recovering. That's up there. And like I said, we can go into more detail about that. The other hot takeaway I would say is that LeBron James is the GOAT for recovery tools and biohacks. He has given us the blueprint.
Thanks for not gatekeeping, LeBron.
Which has allowed me to become my own little LeBronia. The other hot take is always research, research, research. Even though, yes, LeBron James did all these things, I did not just say like, great if he was gonna do it. I mean, it piqued my interest because if it's good enough for LeBron, then why not try it?
Everybody's body's
But
different.
of course, I did my research to really see what I was gonna get myself into. That is very important to know what it's supposed to do, if there's any side effects or symptoms that you may suffer from, things like that. So that way, if something is happening while you're in, like let's say, the hyperbaric chamber or in the cryo chamber, you know what your body's not supposed to be doing and you're experiencing that's good to know because that means you need to stop immediately and probably get medical assistance. So it's always good to know and do your research on, because if you're having adverse effects and you might think that it's normal and it's not. So research, 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 I would always say. And as for biohacking tools and recovery tools, as we've discussed foam rollers, which are super cheap to get. You can get them literally from Five Below.
Right?
I got mine from Five Below. I don't know. Maybe
Got mine at
dollar stores are
TJ
different.
Maxx or something.
Yeah, so I would say like a Five Below, just because they do, gym equipment and
Hmm.
stuff, and it's $5. You can't beat that. So it's affordable. This stuff can be affordable. You do not have to like just be like, oh, I'm not an athlete, so I don't need to do this, or I'm not an a professional athlete, I don't need to do this. No, you can recover like one, even if you aren't one, and there's a smart way you can do that. So, like I said, foam rollers, you can get it from Five Below, you can get them from everywhere. Then you could get yourself a massage gun. Literally, they are available on Amazon, or I'm sure other places have them. And an EMS machine, super cheap. You can find it on Amazon or anywhere else online. These things are affordable. And then you can move up from there.
You don't have to go in the deep end like we do.
I mean,
We're
yes,
overachievers. We're just overachievers.
like, pay attention to your coins. We're not going to tell you to just say ignore it if you can afford it. But no, like I said, I have an ice box that I use now for my knee, and I got that through Amazon. So you can use that, and that's affordable. It won't target your whole body like going into a cryo machine, but it is definitely an affordable option, and can pinpoint just even one area that might cause you soreness. I would also say red light panel, affordable, found it on Amazon. Same thing with
Don't get the small one, get the big one. I made that mistake.
and same thing with compression boots. Like, it's all there. So you can afford them. And some of these things are available through FSA and HSA. So you can actually, if you have them, it may not even cost you anything. Like, I don't have either one of those things. So of course I paid out of my pocket for it. But I think the medical field is realizing that these are things that are sometimes a medical
Yeah,
necessity and a way to
exactly.
train. So you can get them as medical help. So yeah, if you have FSA or HSA, I know that compression boots and I know that red light can be covered under that.
Absolutely.
At least when I was researching it on Amazon. So yeah, there are things
It-
that you can do, and the return on investment, you guys won't regret it. In a month, you will see the return on your investment. I promise
I
you.
know.
So yeah, and also be consistent. I would also say that's another thing. You have to do these things consistently.
Mhm.
It's not something that's a one-off and then you get rid of it. Like compression boots, yes. Red light is definitely something that has to be consistent because it's going on a molecular cellular level. So yeah, you're not gonna really feel all that. But your body isn't gonna be like after one session, like your cells are doing great. Like, yeah, you might feel better than what you did before, but it consistently takes you to do it in order to feel the full effects of it. So yeah, I would say that is all the hot takeaways, and always be on the lookout when you're researching. Like, I'm always on the lookout for
Yeah.
the
The
next
next
cool
thing.
recovery. Yeah. And like I said, rest and stretching are very, very important. It is the foundation of recovery. But my hot take it for what you will, is that the more you do, the more active you are, the more help that you need. And these are just assistants to help you feel at your best. That's it. They're not you know, game-changing solution that's going to change everything. You still need to rest, you still need to eat properly, you still need all those things. My hot take on this is that yeah, like making sure that your diet is right, sleeping, stretching, those are all the foundations that you need. And then recovery tools, because the more active you are, the more help that you need. They're just to help give you the best optimization for what you're doing. If you don't have those foundations, then it's gonna work. It may not work fully to your advantage, but it's not the band-aid solution or the quick fix to ignore, like only getting 2 hours of sleep or never stretching your body, because your body can only do so much. So I
Exactly.
will say keep those things in mind. Definitely. We're not
Oh,
saying that just to forgo like the foundations that recovery has been built on. We're not saying that at all. We're saying that these things will enhance and make it better, especially the more active that you become, because we have found that yes, the foundations help, but sometimes it's not enough. Like, you need that little bit of help. And that's what we're saying. It's just helping your body to have optimum recovery.
and
And
you so that you can accomplish your goals.
yeah, and that is it for this conversation. Thanks for tuning in and listening to us again. Until next time, I'm Nomi,
And I'm Lex Windaless.
and follow us on TikTok at want_2_Nomi, same thing as on IG.
On TikTok, I am Lux_Wonderless.
And so, yeah, Until the next conversation, guys. Bye.
Toodles.